UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon says South Sudan is on the brink of an abyss after new fighting unleashed a spate of sexual violence. The latest report by Amnesty International says the government let soldiers kill, loot and rape civilians, even after the signing of the peace deal. The UN's Secretary-General made the comments during an open debate on peace building in Africa. The peace deal signed last year collapsed this month after heavy fighting between forces loyal to South Sudan's two main politicians. For more on this, Douglas Johnson is a specialist in the history of North East Africa and joins us now from Patterdale in the UK. Douglas, good to have you with us. Well, let's start with these disturbing reports of widespread rape and violence in Juba. The UN reporting at least 120 cases in the last 3 weeks. I mean, there seems to be a real sense of impunity amongst armed men in that area. What's happening?
Well, it's not only impunity among armed men, it is a lack of control of some of the leaders at the top. Either the president, who's the commander-in-chief, is fully aware of all of these things and may in fact have ordered them, or he is just unable to control his commanders down the line. There has never really been impunity. There's never really been accountability in South Sudan. One of the failings of the CPA, which brought the war against Khartoum to an end, was that there was no provision for accountability, no provision for reconciliation. And what we're seeing now is the legacy of the civil war within the civil war, of the war that ended in 2005, and some of both the political as well as the social, some of the tensions between different communities in South Sudan that were forced to fight each other, were made to fight each other during the first civil war.
Indeed. Well, I mean, it looks as though this peace deal, which was agreed between Salva Kiir and Riek Machar back in August, is all but dead. Machar has been replaced. The last time we saw this amount of violence between the two sides, it descended into all-out civil war. I mean, are you worried that that could happen again?
Of course, I'm worried, and I think just about everybody else is worried. There is just a possibility that civil war can be averted, because right now you're seeing that the opposition is split. There have been a number of opposition fighters who have come over to the government prior to the most recent fighting, and there is a split within the opposition leaders who are based in Juba, some of whom have voted or elected to replace Riek Machar, at least temporarily, while he is out of Juba and no longer fulfilling the functions of first vice president. Now, there is just the possibility that Riek Machar could come back. The president was originally against the increasing of a foreign force to come into Juba. He's now revised that, and it seems as if he would be willing to have some force that would come in who could give Riek Machar...
I was going to ask you about that because, as you say, Machar has asked for an international force to act as a buffer between the two sides, but there's already a UN presence in South Sudan. So do you envisage that being beefed up, or could the African Union do more?
The UN presence is very small, and it doesn't have both the mandate and the equipment to be able to act as an effective buffer. The African Union hasn't been particularly successful in providing peacekeepers in Sudan or South Sudan. In some cases, the behavior of African Union troops has been abysmal in not protecting civilians. I think that it's not really realistic to think of some sort of international authority being placed over South Sudan, but it might just be possible to put in an internationally controlled peacekeeping or police force in Juba to help demilitarize Juba and perhaps get some sort of calm restored in that area so that the transitional government could get on with really bringing peace to the country.
OK, Douglas, thank you very much indeed for that. Good to have you with us, Douglas Johnson there.